Hi, I'm Andrew Stevens, and I'm the Director of Instruction at the Andrew Stevens Golf Academy at the Golf Ranch in Burlington, Kentucky. And today I want to talk about how you can maximize the distance with your driver by optimizing your attack angle. So attack angle has become a very popular concept thanks to the evolution of Trackman. So first we got to know what attack angle is. So simply put, attack angle is measuring where the bottom of the golf swing or the low point of the arc is relative to the golf ball. So attack angle is often thought of hitting up on the golf ball or hitting down on the golf ball, but really all we're doing is measuring the low point of the swing relative to the golf ball. So if the low point of the swing is ahead of the golf ball, that club will be moving down as it creates impact. If the low point of the swing is behind, that golf club is going to be on its way up. So using attack angle to help us optimize our distance, we're going to look at three key factors where most amateur golfers will tend to create a little too steep of an attack angle. So before I get into that, let me preface this video by saying hitting the golf ball on the way up or creating positive attack angle is not necessary to hit the driver solidly. It's not necessary to hit the driver straight, and it won't necessarily make you a better golfer. You know, we look at the average on the PGA Tour for attack angle, it's about minus 1.3 degrees. So the average player on tour is hitting slightly down on the golf ball. So what we then have to look at is average club head speed, PGA Tour player versus amateur. So the average tour player is going to be swinging that driver about 113 miles an hour, while the average amateur golfer is only swinging about 94 miles an hour. So simply put, the tour player doesn't have to optimize their attack angle in order to create distance. They've got plenty of speed to spare. The average golfer, we usually need as much help as we can to create more power. So we're going to look at the three factors that could lead to your negative attack angle, and those are ball position, the amount of axis tilt you have at impact, and creating too much shaft lean. So take a look at the three examples we have here using Trackman.
The first cause of negative attack angle with the driver that I'm going to look at is ball position. Ball position is the easiest way to influence our attack angle, since obviously attack angle is simply telling us where the low point of the golf swing is relative to the golf ball. The further back the golf ball is played in our stance, if all things remain equal, that's going to equal a more negative attack angle. So you'll see in our two examples here, the swing on the right, I've got the golf ball more in the middle of my stance, while the swing on the left is kind of up here towards the left heel, which would be kind of more an advisable position for the driver. You can also see how the golf ball position affects my setup here. So when the ball is more in the center of my stance, my shoulders tend to be a little bit more level, while if the ball is more forward, it tends to add a little bit of spine tilt. So because of a simple adjustment in setup, what you'll be able to see here with these two golf swings, and I tried to keep the swings relatively similar speed. Obviously the one on the right got a little quicker on me, but you can see with that golf ball more centered, that's going to lead to an attack angle of minus 8.6. With the swing on the left, when the ball is more forward, I was able to hit up on the golf ball slightly. So our differences are roughly 8 degrees less launch angle when the ball is further back here. Ball speed remained pretty constant, but because of the extra launch angle and decent spin rate here, I was able to carry this golf ball almost 30 yards farther and pick up about 20 yards more of distance. So obviously if you look at your ball position and it seems like it's in a good spot, let's look at some other factors that could be causing this negative attack angle. But if you look at your ball position and it seems like it's a little too far back, try creeping that ball a little bit more forward, and that should help raise this attack angle just a little bit. So the second cause of a negative attack angle with the driver that we're going to look at is not having enough body tilt at impact with the driver, or what most people would say, getting ahead of it. So what we'll do is look at two swings I've made here again. The swing on the right, what you're going to see happen is as I work into impact, you can see I've drawn this circle around my head here. As I work into impact, you're going to see me leaning a little bit towards the left with my upper body at the top, and then what you're going to see is my upper body and my head has kind of crept ahead of that circle, so that when I get to impact here and I draw a line kind of up my left thigh here and towards my upper body, you're going to see there's not a lot of upper body tilt here at impact. So it's basically forming a straight line here. So because of that, that's going to cause the bottom of my golf swing to be much more forward than where I would like it here. So you can see here that led to an attack angle of 9.5 degrees down. So obviously creating extremely low launch. So even though I hit this golf ball pretty solidly, it's only going to fly 190 yards or so in the air. On the swing on the left here, what you should see is that as I swing down, you're going to see my head actually move slightly back, which a lot of players will have that happen here with driver. So now if I draw a line up my left leg and then up my upper body here, now you're going to see I have got more tilt away from the target here at impact. So my upper body is a little bit more behind the golf ball. So I felt like my hips were going to move forward, but my upper body was going to feel like it stayed just a little bit more back. So we don't want to feel like we're hanging back with our weight distribution. We just want to feel like the upper body stays back a little bit more. So when I can create a little bit more of this secondary axis tilt here, my attack angle now improves to 1.3 degrees positive. You can see club head speed was about the same. Launch angle again, dramatically higher. Spin is at a decent rate here. It's actually very low on this one. Ball speed is actually fractionally less, but because we altered these impact conditions here, you can see the huge difference, almost 40 yards I was able to pick up in total yardage. The final potential cause of negative attack angle with the driver that we're going to look at is what we call dragging the handle, or you can think of it as too much shaft lean at impact. So once again, when we look at the two example swings that I've made here, the swing on the right, you're going to see as we approach impact, you're going to see the hand staying well ahead of the club head. So we're really leaning the shaft here through impact. So you can see as I get to impact here, my glove is almost outside of my left leg. So I've got quite a bit of forward shaft lean here. So when we have the shaft leaning too much forward like it is here, that's usually going to create a negative attack angle. It's moved the bottom of the swing farther ahead of the golf ball than we want it. So what you see here, it's kind of becoming a trend with all the swings that I've made here. When this attack angle becomes extremely negative, for me here, it's going to lead to a very low launch angle. So even though I hit this golf ball very solidly, had a smash factor of 1.48, because it's launching so low, I'm only going to get a carry of about 200 yards here, total distance of 240. The swing that we've made here on the left, I felt like I released the club head and allowed it to catch up with my hands a little bit more. So you'll see when I approach impact here, you'll see that my hands are basically in the middle of my body here, and the club shaft is much more vertical. So I've released it a little bit more at the bottom. I don't have as much forward shaft lean, and so with similar club head speed here, I've actually been able to increase my carry by 45 yards here. So the attack angle moved from 8 degrees down to 2.7 degrees up. So all I did here was felt like I released the club head and allowed it to catch up to my hands a little bit more. So forward shaft lean is something that's talked about a lot. It's great for irons, and it's something that most amateur golfers don't get enough of. However, you're going to see better golfers get into this pattern here where they feel like they're dragging the hands through. And while it might look good on videotape and you're able to hit your short irons very far and really compress it, it's not going to be optimal to creating as much driver distance as you possibly can.
So what you've seen today are just 3 possible causes that could lead to negative attack angle with the driver. So keep in mind, whenever you make a change in your attack angle, you're also going to make a change in your club path, since we know that attack angle and club path are directly related. So if you increase your attack angle, if you go from -2 degrees to +2 degrees, because we are catching that golf ball more on the way up, because of the arc of the swing, we are also going to have that golf club moving a little bit more to the left at impact. So keep in mind your path, assuming all things kept equally, which is very difficult to do in the golf swing, but if you kept all other aspects the same and you increase the attack angle, the path of your swing will move to the left. So keep in mind, when increasing attack angle, you may have to shift the direction of your swing out to the right a little more. So definitely something to keep in mind when you're working on this attack angle. But hopefully this video has shed some light on 3 potential causes for negative attack angles. Certainly there are several others. We'll have to leave that to another video, but if you can identify what could be leading to your negative attack angle, you should be able to create a little bit higher launch with the driver, a little bit less spin, and hopefully a lot more distance. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.